presentations here.
It seems to be a popular number.
No, I've got a double header here. I've got the last two topics of the night. First one is the charter ordinance that's really just cleanup work, clarifying some things in charter ordinance number 15, which was the charter ordinance that we adopted here a few years ago that sets forth the structure of the governing body, the election of the mayor from within the governing body. It delineates the authority and duties of both the council and city administrator. So there are three proposed clarifying items in this charter ordinance. The first is it just simply clarifies the commencement date for new governing body members. There was some question about that, so this one just makes very clear that council members' terms start on the first Monday after in January following their election. If that Monday happens to be January 1st, then the council meeting would take place on January 2nd. And so their term would begin January 2nd in those particular instances. Let's see. Second, the charter ordinance would change the city administrator's job title from city administrator to city manager. That is purely a change in nomenclature. It doesn't come with any change in duties or responsibilities or anything like that. We already operate based on a modified council city manager type form of government, and this is really just a name change to make that consistent. It's also something that you see in a lot of communities that operate the same type of governing structure. And then the third is the city administrator currently has final authority with regard to all personnel matters. However, the charter ordinance sets forth requiring the city administrator to consult and seek out input from the governing body, which is somewhat inconsistent with the fact that the city administrator already has final authority. As a practical matter, nobody sitting in that position is going to take any steps with regard to a department head or an officer without taking the temperature of the governing body. And so really, as a practical matter, I don't think this changes anything. But I think what it does is it just clarifies the authority of the city administrator to take that final action. So we have to do this in a charter ordinance because the authorities are set forth in a prior charter ordinance, which can only be amended by a new charter ordinance. So that is what we are doing. There will be publication costs associated with this. We've got it published a couple of times in the Times Sentinel and on the city website. There are no other financial considerations. Obviously, it was drafted by myself as the city attorney. So what we would recommend is that, number one, move to waive the reading of the charter ordinance, and then two, move to adopt the charter ordinance that amends prior charter ordinance number 15. And that second one will be a roll call. Any questions?
Make a motion to move to waive the reading of the charter ordinance.
Second.
Naomi's moved to waive the reading of the charter ordinance. Corey seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Make a motion to adopt the charter ordinance amending charter ordinance number 15. Second.
It's moved and seconded. Naomi made the motion. Amanda seconds. Roll call.
Councilmember Durr.
Yes.
Councilwoman White.
Yes.
Mayor Lieb.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hall.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Charter ordinance
Number 20.
Number 20.
21, excuse me.
Okay.
I'm not the typical city clerk, so forgive my ignorance.
All right.
We told Sarah she could have one more evening off.
Probably not a bad idea. Okay.
All right. Last item on the agenda is a hybrid work policy. Speaking of Sarah Simon, our city clerk, as any new parent will tell you, being a new parent requires some flexibility when you come back to work. Some roles, some jobs enable themselves to that flexibility and the ability to work at times remotely. And the city did not have a hybrid work policy that allowed for remote working, and so we have tried to put something together to accomplish that. Let's see here. So what we've tried to do is we've tried to balance the need for operational flexibility, but at the same time maintaining a responsibility to complete job duties, to maintain a high level of public service, supervision, accountability, and data security. So key provisions in the policy, the position remains primarily an on-site and public facing. Not all positions are going to be conducive to a hybrid approach or to remote working. The hybrid approach is intended to be very temporary. It's intended to be something that is very rarely used, but sometimes it is necessary, especially to keep good people, good employees. Requires employee to be in good standing, demonstrated strong performance. Obviously, you wouldn't want to do that with somebody who is not a high performer, somebody who doesn't have a track record and has earned that trust, because at the end of the day, you know, working remotely, working away from the workplace, it requires the employer to put a high degree of trust in that employee. Doesn't reduce any expectations, any requirements as far as production is concerned. Still required to maintain the same high service levels. In order to work in a hybrid setting, that requires pre-approval by department head and the city manager. And no blanket or standing schedules are permitted in those circumstances. Employee expectations. The employee, even if they're working from home, they're expected to be working regular business hours and maintain availability so people here are able to reach out with any questions, concerns, issues. Again, productivity, quality standards, there's no change in that. With hourly employees, they're still required to maintain their accurate timesheets. And they're required to record all time actually spent working. Also, there's provisions in there, there's no off-the-clock work for non-exempt staff. That is something that you sometimes encounter with your non-exempt employees. They get, you know, they take a call off hours, or they're checking their emails. Now, if you're hourly staff, you really shouldn't be doing that unless you are on the clock. Requires use of city systems only, and obviously there's still an obligation to protect confidential information. There are some risk management and liability safeguards built into the policy and the hybrid work agreement that the employee would be required to sign. Makes clear that workers' compensation is limited to the designated remote location and only to approved hours. Provides protections in the event that the employee gets, you know, hurt during normal working hours, but they're not at home at the time. They're running an errand, or they're dealing with the kids running around in the backyard. Just provide some clarity with regard to that. There's no city liability for outside approved times or areas. No reimbursement for home utilities, mortgage payment, personal equipment, wear and tear, anything like that. Prohibits city data being on personal devices. We want people to continue to use city provided devices. The arrangement can always be revoked at any time if circumstances change, if it's just not a good, it's not working out as intended, or maybe the needs of the position of the city change such that change needs to be made. 24 hours notice if a change is going to be made or revoked. Notice isn't required, but we did provide in there that will in good faith try to provide at least 24 hours notice before mandating that the employee return to work on a full-time basis. Equipment tracking, return requirements, just that have to return any equipment that's provided to accommodate the hybrid work. When that hybrid work ends, we're requiring employees to sign a formal written agreement that spells out a lot of these things that are set forth in the policy. As far as financial considerations, there's really no direct budgetary costs associated with this. They're still performing the same work. They're just going to do some of that work at home as opposed to in City Hall. So, legal considerations, it was actually drafted by Lisa Eichholt, who is the HR consultant who has been filling in for Sarah while she's been on maternity leave. And then I suggested a couple of additions to it. So, it's recommended that the City Council move to adopt the hybrid work policy into the personnel handbook. That's all it's done.
I move to adopt the hybrid work policy into the city's personal handbook.
I second.
Amanda made the motion, Krista seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan, appreciate it. Item J, City Administrator. You have to change that. Right?
Yeah, Craig, is this your last city administrator report?
No, actually, we got
61 days.
Yeah.
Oh, so we get a couple more.
A few more months. That slide you saw a couple back was an error, so yeah, you'll have 2 weeks plus 61 days.
All right. We'll
I
put
would,
it down.
Mr. Mayor, I would just like to submit my written report since we're growing late into the evening, and then stand for any questions that the council may have about our operations or upcoming agenda items or any of our projects.
Are we good?
We're good.
We're good on this side of the table there. You're free to go. Thank you.
I'd like to talk about it for the next 30 minutes if that's okay.
Oh my gosh. I really didn't talk about this.
I know.
If that's the case, we're gonna start the governing body comments on this.
Down that way.
Start with you guys.
I feel like I've said all the things tonight, so
Yeah.
I don't have anything additional. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
What's going on? I'm excited.
We'll go ahead down the line here, so we'll take the last word.
I really just have one, ultimate thank you again for the transparency. I mean, I think that that's so important, and I do hope that for anybody who's watching, that you guys see that I think we were serious about it. This council is serious about it, and the city is serious about it, and we're just very thankful to be doing that. Jason, you were not here last time, so I just want to give you a personal thank you. Public Works, I know, worked their butts off during the snow, and it, isn't ever perfect, but it was great, and I know that they could have been home with their families that weekend, and they could have been warm like hopefully the rest of us were, but they worked really hard, and through the weekend and did it hopefully without complaint, I'm sure. So, and also just to Craig, because I was that person come Tuesday when it started to melt that was like, hey, this road needs a little help, and he you know, made no qualm about it. Probably around dinner time when I texted him and said we'll get on it first thing in the morning, and it was. So I really appreciate that, and just how hard you guys have been working, and please thank your staff as well, because they did fantastic. So
Thank you.
Corey?
Only a couple things. I appreciate Erica calling in to talk us through some things on the iParametrics quote. I look forward to seeing what we come up with for the emergency operating plan. I think that's a good thing that we're getting on that now. And he just left before, but I do appreciate Russ giving us a quick update on the fire district
yep.
topic. So that's
Very
all
good. My one thing is, I just wanted to announce that on the 21st of April, it's a Saturday at 8:30 in the morning, we're gonna have another quarterly prayer coffee, so. I'm
Can I
gonna
get
put
the
that
date
on
again?
February 21st.
February 21st?
February.
I'm like, you're looking way out ahead.
Yeah,
but I'll be there.
February. 2 weeks from Saturday, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday.
You always have a weird time, so what is the?
I was just gonna round it off to 8:30
Okay.
instead of 8:27, so.
That's kind of boring.
I'll be there early though.
How about 8:23?
I've done that before.
I think there's the big pancake feed that day too.
Yeah, it might
The
be.
Lions Club pancake feeds that
So we
morning.
can-
Pancakes and prayer.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing.
Love it. I like that.
All right, anything else? Anybody, give me a last chance? Well, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Good evening.